Headed into a loan signing right now with our client. She's a first-time home buyer, and we are just one step away from closing on her property. Once we sign, we'll be headed out to do her final walkthrough, and she closes next week. She's super excited, and we love her helping first-time home buyers because they're just raw, and they're just so passionate and excited about owning their first property that their excitement is just infectious and spills over into us, and it's just a really exciting time to help somebody buy their first home. We are headed to a final walkthrough with one of our clients who's a first-time home buyer. We just wrapped up her signing, which went really well. And this is where she gets the opportunity to walk through the property, make sure that the home is in the same general condition as when we last saw it. And typically, this is where you also verify that repairs that you requested and that the seller agreed to do have been finished. But in this case, the seller did a credit in lieu of repairs. So we're not checking on any of those items, just to make sure that the home is in substantially the same condition as when we last saw it. So I would recommend kind of just opening the cabinets,
Right.
you know, looking at ceilings and stuff to make sure that there's no...
That everything's the same.
Yeah.
It was before, which I would guess.
So you have some extra paint, so that's nice,
Yeah.
because there's definitely
I
some
don't know.
painting that needs to be done, right?
Yeah. Is the garage empty yet? Not quite.
Not quite.
But better than it was
Well, that's good. That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Everything looks normal to me.
Yeah? Good. It's probably the mailbox key.
Yeah, that's.
So that's good. We'll ask them about garage door openers to see if they have any. A lot of people nowadays just program their cars and they don't have garage door
Oh.
openers.
Alright.
So if they don't have one to give to you and you need one, Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace sell them for like
Alright.
$30, and then you just program them to match. You take off the little back end and there's numbers on there.
Okay. I should figure it out.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. One thing that I always like to check is just to make sure the pool is still being maintained.
You can't go out. No. I looked at the temperature for moving day. That's the day that it's supposed to hit a high of 121.
Oh.
So, great day.
Cool. Well, the pool looks like it's in good shape still. That's good. So then all I need from you is a signature and a date, saying that everything is good. Yeah. And then after this, it's just waiting for the 20th.
I know. Which is 4 days away now. The countdown is on.
So it is Tuesday. I couldn't remember if the 20th was Monday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Monday is the 19th, and it will be 121 degrees.
Waiting for Tuesday now.
Woo! Cannot wait.
Me either. It's gonna be exciting. So
Yeah.
it'll happen by 5 o'clock on Tuesday, as long as the title company gets everything, all the funds and everything they need.
Yes, and it will happen as long as they happen like it happens like they tell me it will.
Okay, well good. Well then we'll be in touch, and yeah, we're almost there.
See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Sometimes people ask whether or not doing a final walkthrough is warranted or even needed, and I absolutely think that it is. I've had a couple of situations in the past where a final walkthrough has been instrumental. I can think of one back when I was doing bank-owned properties where we did the final walkthrough in between the time that we did the signing to the time that we did the final walkthrough. Someone had actually broken into the house and sprayed graffiti all over the place. Had we not done a final walkthrough, the buyer would have never discovered that the graffiti was done, and the property would have closed and recorded, and then they would have owned it, trying to go back to get the bank to do the repairs. But because we discovered the issue beforehand, the bank was able to come in, repaint everything, and get everything situated for the buyer. Currently, we're actually working through a process where we did the final walkthrough. Some of the repairs that the seller had agreed to do weren't done, so we called them out in the final walkthrough form. That acts as a cure notice to the seller, notifying all parties that those repairs have not been finished. The seller has guaranteed that they're going to finish those items. However, the buyer is still required to close on the home. The buyer in Arizona cannot delay closing just because the seller hasn't done the repairs that were agreed upon, or if the property isn't in the substantially same condition. The reason for that is most of the time, if there's an issue, it goes to arbitration, and in arbitration, that's who decides who wins and loses. And more often than not, the buyer will lose in that case because they are causing the seller more harm because of the purchase price of the home. And due to that fact, the buyer does need to still close on the property, fund, and take ownership, and then we fight to get those repairs done after the fact. I know it seems a little bit backwards, but as a buyer, you're not able to delay recording of the home. Otherwise, you'll be found guilty of not closing and causing harm to the seller. So right now we're working through that process. The seller is at fault and is agreeing to finish these repairs. The buyer is being very understandable and very patient while we work through it, but we would not have discovered those items and would not have been able to get a jump start on getting them fixed had we not done the final walkthrough.